Coming up on the September 22nd edition of Carolina Week.
Some North Carolinians are fired up about changes to a federal law that's going to impact their community.
And it's been weeks since the shooting at State, but it's still at the top of students' minds. What's Carolina doing to protect you at games?
And Chapel Hill might be making room for bikers and walkers and losing much more.
These stories and more.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening, I'm Amanda Eiler.
And I'm Lydia Garlikov. Our top story tonight. The dissolution of the federal assault weapons ban has many up in arms. We go now to Carolina Week reporter Dan Seiler, who's live in the newsroom with more. Dan?
Thanks, Lydia. When the federal government chose to let the assault weapons ban lapse early last week, it reopened a conversation that many had thought was long settled.
It's an automatic. It's definitely an automatic weapon.
9 days ago, a decade-old federal ban on assault weapons became a memory. Semi-automatic weapons like the AK-47 and AR-15 were no longer legal for the general public. All told, 19 different kinds of guns were outlawed. Yet now, gun shops report that their sales are up, including several types of handguns. Of the firearms out there, handguns are the most dangerous statistically. Barely 10% of violent crimes in the 1990s involved a firearm, yet of those crimes, less than 1% were committed using an assault weapon. And although cops mostly dodge .38 caliber bullets, FBI data show that 1 in 5 officers killed in the line of duty during that time died from semi-automatic weapon fire. North Carolina Congressman David Price says because assault weapons are so lethal, we should keep them off the streets.
Limited but lethal category of weapons that are used especially in crimes against law enforcement officials and that put firepower on the streets that put law enforcement at a disadvantage.
47 police agencies in North Carolina have endorsed the ban, including the Durham Police Department, where Rob Faggart works. He says the guns are a danger to everyone.
Both to our officers in terms of simply being outgunned if they come up on people who are using these weapons, as well as a danger to the community.
Another provision of the ban limited the number of bullets allowed in a clip. This magazine for a 9mm holds 17 rounds because it was made before the ban went into effect. This one, made after the ban, only holds 10 rounds. Gun enthusiasts like Paul Scarlatta say changing the clip is so easy, the limitation doesn't really matter. He says the cops he knows are against the ban.
Some of them are fellow gun collectors. I've never met one once that was had anti-gun opinions. They agree with that the assault weapons ban has basically accomplished nothing whatsoever.
The ban did have plenty of loopholes. Models with minor cosmetic differences and guns made before 1994 were legal. Price says that shows the weakness of the original law.
There were some compromises made, and the gun manufacturers are very clever at getting copycat versions manufactured. So those who say this has never had a fair test do have a point.
There is a chance the ban might come back. Orange County commissioners formally requested Tuesday that Congress reinstate the ban. Lydia, I could go out today and buy an AK-47 here in North Carolina, but I couldn't if I lived in California or New York. 7 states saw the end of the ban coming and passed their own versions.
Dan Seiler reporting from the newsroom. Thanks, Dan.
North Carolina Senator John Edwards voted in favor of an extension to the assault weapons ban. The vice presidential hopeful campaigned in Raleigh on Monday, speaking to a packed audience at the Raleigh Convention Center. He later answered questions in the town hall meeting style he was known for as a senator. Democrats have called on Edwards to pick up the anti-Bush rhetoric between now and the election.
During the time that George Bush has been in office, 5 million people have lost their health care coverage.
Although it isn't exactly anti-Bush rhetoric, a few women who claim to be from Bush's hometown or of Crawford, Texas, are spreading their message, including here at Carolina. With stage names like Sparkle and Babs, the Missile-Dick Chicks spoke to students in the pit Monday evening. UNC Chapel Hill was one of many stops on their Swing State tour. The women seemed to be promoting Bush with song, dance, routines.
This land was made for me and me.
But most students saw right through their act. A member of the group, Sparkle, says coming to college campuses is important.
to celebrate W and his war profiteering. And we are here to encourage all of the young people to trust their fear, vote for W. All right?
The Chicks didn't stay for long as they were off to Virginia for the rest of their tour.
I'm George W. Bush, and I approve this message.
Republicans aren't sitting back and taking anything from the Kerry camp. Wednesday, they launched a new ad campaign against Kerry. The ad features the presidential hopeful windsurfing, pointing out what Republicans say is his tendency to go whichever way the wind blows on important issues.
There's an energy on campus, and it doesn't have to do with studying for midterms or writing papers. More than a dozen campus organizations are taking the initiative to register students to vote by setting up tables in the pit and explaining the registration process to students. So far, there are an estimated 2,800 UNC students newly registered to vote, with 40 to 50 registration forms turned in daily. The Young Democrats president, Matt Gould, says his organization alone has registered a record number of students.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of registration, and I know the Board of Elections itself, from what I hear, is definitely overloaded trying to handle all the forms.
Organizers anticipate about 3,500 students will register before the October 8th deadline. Getting registered to vote in the next political election may be on the minds of many Chapel Hill students.
But so is voting for the next Mr. and Miss BSM. The race for Mr. and Miss BSM kicked off Monday. Candidates are promoting themselves and their proposed service projects. Planning a service project is one of the main criteria for being elected. BSM President Aaron Davis says creating a service project is an excellent way for BSM members to tackle issues the group hasn't addressed yet.
And it's also a way for them to kind of say, you know, in my time with BSM, I've seen BSM do a lot of things, but maybe we should have reached out over here. So they get to kind of put their own personal spin into what they think that the BSM needs to be doing.
Candidates are addressing issues ranging from relationship violence to health habits. The elections will be held next Thursday from 10 to 2 p.m. in the pit and from 5 to 7 p.m. at Chase.
Want to help serve your community? On Wednesday, about 40 organizations were in the pit for the 5th annual Volunteer Fair to show Chapel Hill residents how to get plugged in. The university and the Chapel Hill Carborough Chamber of Commerce teamed up to host the fair. Representatives gave presentations and answered questions, and students signed up for upcoming events. Students also lined up for the Hunger Lunches all-you-can-eat buffet. Organizers say the fair is a great way for the campus and community to come together to address important issues.
It's cause for a fiesta as the architects of Carolina's newest minor celebrate its beginning. The new Latino Studies minor is attracting more than media attention. Monday, guest speaker Dr. Francis Aparicio used an episode of the TV show 6 Feet Under to teach about Latinos. Following the speech was a performance by the school's newest ensemble, Turanga Carolina, and dance group K Rico. Latino grad student Danielle Cleland is impressed by the unique minor.
It's an innovative type of thing that UNC is doing, and I think it's important to get to know Latino studies, because a lot of times, you know, emphasis is put on other minorities and Latino studies is marginalized.
The minor offers classes in departments ranging from philosophy to drama.
The recent deaths of 2 men at an NC State football game are reminders that violence can occur anywhere, anytime. For those in charge of security during football games at Carolina, the safety of fans isn't just important, it's a top priority. As the 2 men charged with killing 2 others at an NC State football game await trial, people have been wondering if enough is done to keep fans safe.
When we fill Kenan Stadium on a home football Saturday, or Kenan Stadium in essence becomes one of the largest cities in the state of North Carolina. And we certainly guide our security measures as such.
Security at UNC Chapel Hill football games is a group effort, including the Department of Public Safety, members of the athletic department, and a professional security company called Show Pros.
I think probably the safest place in the town of Chapel Hill on campus and maybe in Orange County is Kenan Stadium on a football Saturday, because we have more personnel there than anywhere else in the county at that point in time.
Personnel who are responsible for more than just checking bags.
We have officers on foot patrol. We have officers that are assigned to game duty. There are security personnel who are hired by athletics or by Kenan Stadium.
Because of limited parking on campus, Carolina students aren't allowed to tailgate.
What we're trying to do is control the use of alcohol on football Saturdays as best we possibly can and ask people to be very mindful of that.
despite the state shootings, there will be no change in security plans at Carolina home games. Officials feel confident in the system already in place. Now, officials have made an addition to the security team this year. DPS has its own K-9 unit, which helps officers with bomb detection before every game. Coming up on Carolina Week, find out why some people are burning extra gas
to get out of Chapel Hill to buy it. That story when we return.
Oh, hey, mister. Studied algebra in school and got a better job than I could. You took the last couple.
Oh, no, mister. Stuck in an entry-level job because you only learned basic math. I don't have a boss riding my butt like you do, so you take it so you can get back to your desk.
You know, I probably should, but maybe Miss AP Calculus with the $200 haircut in the big office upstairs would like a cup.
Oh, no, mister. What was your name again? Never mind, it doesn't matter. I'm too busy doing important things to care. I just came down for some sweet and start.
You know, if my limited math abilities weren't keeping me from getting a better job, I'd quit this afternoon.
I don't blame you. But thank goodness you're stuck here because we really need someone to make the coffee.
Escalating gas prices are old news in Chapel Hill, but some residents are starting to do something new about it. Carolina Week reporter Brent Bates has that story.
Filling up a tank is an expensive proposition. In the past year, gas prices in North Carolina have been on the rise. The Energy Information Administration keeps track of how gas prices are determined, but prices vary, and most people blame Chapel Hill's high standard of living for the high prices in the area. Operator of Family Fare at an Airport Road BP station, Raghu Tatanini says the changing cost of crude oil determines prices, and he's seen the effect that high gas prices have on consumers.
And with prices at the pump being considered high in Chapel Hill, some UNC students have found that the way to lower gas prices is the road to Durham.
Carolina student King Jones finds it convenient to fill up his tank in Durham.
You know, if I'm going out to a restaurant over there, I might as well pick it up if I'm low or I go to church out in Durham. So, you know, that there is about 10 cents cheaper.
Resourceful consumers now have places to turn. www.northcarolinagasprices.com keeps track of price levels at gas stations. The group takes email updates from consumers and allows people to compare prices throughout the state. You can see what gas costs and determine if the trip to Durham to buy your gas is worth it. In Chapel Hill, I'm Brent Bates, Carolina Week.
People will have to continue to search for cheaper prices at the pumps for the time being. The EIA says reductions in average gasoline prices are unlikely anytime soon.
One way to avoid high gas prices would be to take part in Car-Free Day. Wednesday, people around town chose to leave their cars at home in observance of the day. Participants walked to the store, took the bus, or rode their bikes. By pledging online that they'd be car-free or car-light for the day, they were entered in a drawing for free prizes, including bicycle accessories or dining certificates. Organizers said they had about 800 people who took part. James Carnahan is the chair of Village Project Incorporated, which planned the event, and he says the event is a healthy change for most people.
It encourages, we think, in a really affirmative setting, people for one day doing something a little differently and for the first time discovering what these alternatives are like.
You can walk or bike to a ceremony celebrating the event Wednesday night at the Weaver Street Market. You can enjoy a free concert and find out the winners of the drawing.
Part of a proposed improvement project is stirring up controversy in Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill resident after resident after resident after resident after resident voiced displeasure Monday night with part of the town's draft bicycle and pedestrian facilities plan. The majority of the people at the town council meeting said they objected to the proposed paving of Battle Branch Trail. Residents said safety concerns about the steepness of the trail and the potential loss of 200-year-old trees are the main reasons they object.
It's a quiet and beautiful place that we should preserve.
The council will address the issue again on October 11th. You've probably seen the Truth campaign ads aimed at smoking prevention.
And even in states like North Carolina, they're working. A study by UNC School of Public Health found that youth in tobacco-producing states are just as affected by smoking prevention campaigns as youth in other states are. The study was designed to test how effective the Truth campaign was in preventing youth smoking. More than 28,000 adolescents participated in the study.
Some Central Carolina middle schoolers are about to stand up. 7 universities across the nation are participating in a diabetes study. Stand Up, or Schools Tackle Activity, Nutrition, and Diabetes Prevention, pairs UNC with Selma Middle School in Johnston County. Students will be sitting up and spending more time in the gym. Principal researcher Joanne Harville is ready for the study to get underway.
When you go to the schools and see the problem of obesity, if we can find a way to help them set up lifestyle plans, to me that is a tremendous service.
Each student will receive $25 at the end of the study. In the meantime, they'll be enjoying some new gadgets for their participation.
And they really like this. And
there's a new and different high school in Chapel Hill. Pace Academy on Legion Street opened its doors recently, but it's not just any school. Pace accommodates students who aren't college-bound. Pace is a charter school, meaning it's operated by parents and teachers without many of the local and state educational regulations. The school has a library, an art studio full of supplies, and a recreation area. 7 teachers head up classes preparing students for career in web design, filmmaking, cosmetology, and business.
For 30 years, the Arts Center has been getting the creative juices flowing in Carborough and Chapel Hill kids. The Arts Center offers craft lessons, art galleries, and performance venues for all ages. A recent proposal to renovate the shopping plaza where it's located would mean changes for the Arts Center and maybe some negotiating with the developers. But the executive director of the Arts Center says if all goes well, there will be no interruption in the center's programs.
Part of the plan in developing this property is that the first 2 buildings that will be built on the new site are the Arts Center and the Cat's Cradle, so that we will be able to move into a new Arts Center before the current Arts Center is demolished.
The new plan offers the Arts Center a space that's twice the 20,000 square feet it uses now, and plans call for it to be located a little farther from the road. Well, meteorologist Meredith Croak joins us now.
Meredith, it's been a bit cool in the mornings. I'm really looking forward to breaking out the sweaters.
Yep.
How soon can we expect that?
Well, today is the first day of fall, so it's going to be coming up, but this week looks like it's going to be a very nice week. I'll have your full forecast coming up after the break.
Can you afford to own a home in Orange County?
I'm a homeowner.
I am a homeowner.
I'm a homeowner. We own a home in Orange County, and so can you.
If you thought you couldn't afford to own a home in Orange County, now you can. Contact the Orange Community Housing and Land Trust for more information.
It's springtime in the forest of the black-tailed deer. The young male is feeling playful. It's time for tag. The female flicks her ears. Her way of saying, "Catch me if you can."
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm meteorologist Meredith Croak. First, let's take a look at your weather headlines. We have had some very cool nights. That's going to continue for the next couple of days, but we have sunny skies with warm temperatures, and we're going to continue to keep an eye on the tropics. We have a lot going on. Let's take a look first at your satellite map. You can see not much going on over our part of the country. This is actually the remnants of Hurricane Ivan. It actually went up through North Carolina and then went back down through Florida and brought some rain to that region. And here's the clouds back to the west. That's is what can possibly help keep Hurricane Jeanne away from our coast. Let's take a look now at that forecast map. You can see high pressure dominating our weather. That's what's letting us have these beautiful sunny skies and just some great weather out there. This cold front back to the west here, if that starts pushing through and the hurricane is currently located down to the south, that could keep the storm from moving too much over our area. So we have to keep a close eye on that. Let's take a look at that tropics map now. You can see here's Hurricane Hurricane Jean, that's forecast to move up to the North Carolina coast and it could possibly make landfall sometime Monday into Tuesday. And now this is the two other tropical systems. This one won't be affecting us too much. Hurricane Carl, Category 2 storm, is going to continue to move to the north. And here we have Tropical Storm Lisa. That's forecast to continue moving eastward, and that we do need to keep a close eye on as well. Now, as we take a look at your current forecast for this week, we have a beautiful week for your 4-day forecast. Temperatures in the lower 80s, so a great week. Low temperatures in the low 60s, sunny through the whole week. Just remember, Monday into Tuesday, you have to watch out for the possibility of Hurricane Jean coming through. Let's take a look now at your beach forecast. You can say great fall weekend to get out to the beach. High 82 on Saturday and sunny, 81 on Sunday. Great weather out there, and the same in the mountains. The lows are going to be the highs are going to be in the lower 70s. So great weather for the mountains. A little bit chilly, low on Sunday night in 48. So it is a little bit cool, but it's going to be a great weekend out there. And as we take a look, if you're going to that game this weekend, if you're heading out to the game, we'll get your great game day forecast up. You can have, so you can see your temperature will be 76 degrees at kickoff time, and it has a 1:35 kickoff. It should be a great day for a football game. This fall weather is starting to kick in, and it's great football weather.
It looks like a great weekend. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Meredith.
Yep, won't be too cold.
And Sexton joins us now.
I hope the Tar Heels are as hot, at least, as they were last weekend.
I know, there's a lot of pressure, but the football team definitely has to keep the fires burning. But before that, we have a little bit of other action, some volleyball going on. So coming up, the women's volleyball team squared off against the Blue Devils Tuesday night in Duke's glorified high school gym. Find out if the Heels struck first in the Carlisle Cup standings when Carolina Week Sports bounces back.
When your children ask where you got married, will you have to tell them, over there by the unleaded? When we lose a historic place, we lose a part of who we are. Help protect historic places in your community. Visit nationaltrust.org.
So I was just thinking, just trim the ends just a little
I got it from here, Monsieur Salon type guy. Hey, today, everybody, is Pixie Cut Day. We're gonna take it real short, and then we're gonna dye it. Jet black, the look that says, I scribble dark lyrics in my journal. It just says, I've got issues.
I don't have issues.
Well, you will after this haircut. Pixie cut it is.
I
Yes.
don't want a pixie cut.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Ann Sexton. Thank goodness for Title IX. The first ACC match, the first Carlisle Cup point, and the hunt for Coach Joe Segula's 500th win. There was absolutely no pressure on the volleyball team during Tuesday's match. Oh, and did I forget? It's at Duke. Maybe it was the eerie chill from being in Cameron Indoor, but it took the Lady Tar Heels a while to warm up, and they lost game 1, 30-26. But here comes the unsinkable Molly Piles, helping Carolina come back midway through the second game. Not even the Cameron Crazies could hold them down. Is that a Duke Blue Devil praying? But despite some sloppy play in game number 3 by both sides, the fight for the Carlisle Cup point got intense with a late 9-point Duke run. But the Blue Devils self-destructed, and 12 straight points by the Heels helped secure win 500 for Segula, who says the win against Duke is about more than just numbers.
We played Duke later in the year, but because of the new ACC schedule, that one actually doesn't count ACC standing. This one does, so this was the more important match. So it has a lot of significance, a lot of things. Carlisle Cup, ACC wins, the first ACC win, a 500th win, whatever it might be, but it's Duke too, so that's always important.
Carolina fans helped Segula and the team celebrate by rubbing in the Carlisle Cup and the ACC win just a little bit more. With 16 ACC championships and 18 national titles, the Tar Heel women's soccer team is perhaps the best dynasty ever in any sport. What makes the team so great? Carolina Week's Luke Notstein takes us farther down the road of domination.
You know your team has the right attitude when the most disappointing part of your season is a scoreless tie. That's the mindset of a Carolina women's soccer team that begins ACC play at 7-0-1 and undefeated in its first 8 matches.
This coming weekend we'll start our second block, which is ACC regular season play. So, like right now, we just have to start getting it done, gelling as a team, playing together.
Winning 34 of its past 35 games implies playing together quite nicely. Obviously, the Tar Heels are on the same page on the field, but how about off the field?
As far as team chemistry, our team chemistry right now is amazing. It's the best I've ever seen. And Jamie she's entertaining. I love hanging out with her. Like, she can just make me laugh for hours just because she's hilarious. And she and Libby Guest kind of, their personalities fit together quite well. So it's pretty hilarious.
When most opponents come to Chapel Hill to play against the Tar Heels, they don't think it's very funny. In fact, it's probably the biggest game of their entire season. So in most cases, they're not trying to beat the Tar Heels. They're just trying not to look silly. I'm Luke Notestein, Carolina Week Sports.
If you want to see these defending national champions open up ACC play, show up on Friday night at 7 p.m. when Maryland comes to town. Well, the men's team didn't fare quite as well, dropping one on the road Tuesday night to 6th-ranked Old Dominion 3-2. It was the Heels' third loss in the first 6 games of the season. They hope to get back on track Sunday night against Virginia. Well, it's exam week, the grades are in, and 3 Tar Heels have made the ACC's version of the honor roll for their performances Saturday night against beating Georgia Tech. Tar Heel tailback Jacques Lewis rushed for a career-high 161 yards, scored 2 touchdowns, and was named the ACC Offensive Back of the Week. On the other side of the pigskin, 2 Heels are basking in the glow of Saturday's win as well. Jacoby Watkins was named this week's best defensive back thanks to his 2 interceptions. And with 13 tackles, first-year starter Fred Sparkman was named the defensive lineman of the week. But as the fans can tell you, it's all, what have you done for me lately? So the Heels will have to play just as well this weekend against Louisville to keep the Tar Heel faithful happy. I don't know, I'm really excited about this weekend. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the team, but I think they can do it.
Should be a good game.
Thanks, Ann. Stepping out of the mold and into the garden.
North Carolina artists put their green thumbs to the test.
Plastic ones last longer.
Pork bellies close steady due to speculation that demand for bacon-related products.
Read me this one, Daddy.
Okay, honey. The less art kids get, the more it shows. Are yours getting enough? Art. Ask for more. AmericansForTheArts.org.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Despite fall being in the air,
one thing normally associated with spring is in full bloom. The 17th annual Sculpture in the Garden is now open at UNC Chapel Hill's Botanical Gardens. The outdoor art show features 49 sculptures from North Carolina artists. You can take it all in during a 1-hour walk around the Totten Center. It's complete with guides and activities to do along the way. The collection includes everything from steel pirates to wooden nymphs and even a hot pink pig. Each piece of art creates a unique impression for viewers, such as Amanda David.
You don't have to always be perfect. You can be abstract sometimes. You don't have to always be in line. You can get out of the line sometimes. Think out of the box.
Some of the sculptures are for sale. Yo-Yo's Muse by artist Mike Roig will set you back almost $30,000. The show runs through November 19th and is open every day of the week. I know I'm going to have to check that out, but I don't know if my pockets run quite deep enough for those.
I definitely don't think so. I was going to say, it looks like there's a wide variety of things you can do this weekend with the great weather. The botanical gardens, the game.
There's definitely something for everybody. The weather definitely should be looks good for everything outdoors.
Lots of choices. Looking forward to it. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.